Good morning. Rainy morning here in West Virginia. I don't know about where you're at, but still, it's a good morning. And I hope that your day is got a bunch of blessings lined up for you and opportunities for you to be a blessing to somebody. I was reading about a truck driver who was a blessing to a family. Made me think about today. This family in Australia was driving along and this terrible rain came up. One of those just gully washers, one of those rains where the rain is literally almost coming down sideways. You can't hardly see anything, and the water was getting up and was coming out onto the road, and they weren't sure what to do. And the truck that they got behind literally realized they were behind them and began to lead them. It began to like push water out of the way, and it would use its blinkers to tell them where the hazards were coming up. And they tucked in behind this truck and followed it all the way to a place of safety where they could get off and stop at an inn. I had a similar experience happen to me years ago. I was traveling from Philadelphia to Fairmont on New Year's Eve, and I was actually going to Camille's house for New Year's Eve, and a terrible storm came up. I don't know, I think I was on 68, and this terrible storm came up, and I was in a little Toyota Corona, and I had just put snow tires on it. I had just stopped and got the gas station attendant talked into, he didn't know how to use his, it was nighttime, he didn't know how to use his tire changing machine, and so I literally had to talk him into letting me use his tire changing machine. I had two tires in the trunk, they weren't on the rims, but they were snow tires, so I put them on, and on the way, I got into snow and storm so bad that I was just creeping along. I mean, like, just creeping along. You couldn't see the road. You couldn't see where the sides of the road were at. And I came up on a truck driver who was literally stopped in the road, had his flashers on, stopped in the road. So I thought, well, maybe this is like 1979, 1980. So I thought maybe he's heard something on his CB radio. It was pre-cell phone time. So I pulled in behind him, and I got out of my car, and I'm not kidding you, the wind was so strong and the road was so slick that when I got out of the car, the wind literally knocked me down. But I got up to the truck, and I knocked on the door, and I asked the guy if he'd heard anything about conditions or anything like that. He said, no, but crawl up in here. And he said, I've got 2 full tanks. He said, we can sit here for 2 days if we need to. And so I crawled up in there, and we sat there. He crawled back in his sleeper cab, and I sat in his seat, and we literally just fell asleep. And finally, about 2 or 3 hours later, a snowplow came along, and we followed the snowplow all the way to an exit. And we were able to, go on. But I thanked that man several times. But, I had followed him as far as I could. He followed the snowplow. I followed him, and I had a nice, safe path to follow as we went forward in the snow. But it made me think about a passage in Hebrews 12:2. Now, literally that passage reads this way. It says, this is in the New King James, it says, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. But if you look at it in a couple other translations, one translation literally says, let us fix our eyes upon Jesus, the pioneer / trailblazer and perfecter of our faith. I like that thought. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus because he is blazing the trail ahead of us. He's been there ahead of us. He can see the past, present, and future. He has the wisdom to guide us along the way. And I just need to keep my eyes fixed upon him if I want to make the trail, if I want to make the trip safely. So I'm thinking about today. I've got a lot to do today. Got a lot of stuff ahead of me. maybe making a trip to Hagerstown. There's a girl who grew up in our church there who is literally, she's homeless. She's on the street in a town near Hagerstown, Maryland. And she called me last night. I sent her some money to get some food. And, she's a kid who's had a lot of tough breaks. She's still only, I think, 18 or 19 years old. But she has just had a lot of difficulties, a lot of tough breaks. She has some emotional issues, and she's a good girl. She grew up in our church. She sang in our worship team, but she's lost right now, and she needs help. So that's part of what's on the agenda for today, to see if I can help her out. But we just have to. When we're faced with situations, the place to look is to Jesus and say, "Okay, God, Lord Jesus, you've led the way. You've been down the path ahead of me. I want to look to you and seek your guidance and seek your help in this." So today, regardless of whatever it is you're facing, I pray that you'll look to Jesus and that you'll find the direction you need and the path that you need. Well, I got to get moving. I hope you have a great day today, and I will talk to you, Lord willing, tomorrow.